Hey y'all, welcome back to Knitting in Our Jeans. I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
And you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as TooLizForYou, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
And I'm CPREDMOR on Ravelry, and on Instagram I have posted somewhat recently. I posted the Chihuly glass things after we spoke last week as Knitting Our Jeans on Instagram. And the boat is in the water. So it was really a crummy weekend this weekend in terms of it was chilly. It was rainy today, so we didn't go out today. We had no plans to go out today. We didn't get talked into it. And this coming week is going to be chilly also. So I imagined towards the end of May, like May 23rd, etc., we could be going out sailing. And there'll be more pictures of knitting and sailing. So that'll be good. The boat looks like it's in good shape. So that's excellent. So more pictures of on Instagram of knitting while sailing. I also decided today, since it was Mother's Day, to investigate how might I get a comfortable chair on the boat. One of the things I truly dislike about the boat is there's no chair. There are lounges, but no chair. And I tend to slump when sitting on the lounges. You know, it's kind of a U-shaped Naga hide sofa, right? It's not real leather, so it's some kind of fake-o leather. And it's not good for your back to be doing that, you know, and if you're nose deep in your knitting or you're kind of cross-stitch.
Or a book.
You don't notice time is passing.
No.
And so, and I'm comfortable in what I'm doing. I want to keep reading. I don't want to get up and stretch. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. And so it ends up, after a couple days, I can barely move because I've crumpled into a C. So I've been looking up folding. The collapsible is not really the word. They prefer folding. Hammock chairs with canopies. Because, of course, on a boat, you're going to get reflective sun from all the water. So a canopy would be good to keep some of the sun coming directly.
So are you talking about putting this in the cockpit?
I was, yes. Because there's no other flat part.
Have you run this by the captain yet?
No. The admiral, who is me, is the one who decides this stuff.
This is going to be real funny.
And all I have to do is measure to make sure the feet fit.
Okay.
If the feet fit as it splays out, once we're done sailing and we're anchored or something for the night, it doesn't matter.
Unless he has something he needs to do.
Well, then he can walk around me.
Okay.
So anyway, I found one chair that looks really nice, and it's a recliner. You can also recline and look at the stars. It's a Neo or something.
Okay.
And comments on it are, sometimes they send poles, back poles, you know. It's like a tent. You got to stick these poles in it that are too long, and so you call them and they send the right poles. I don't know how the wrong poles get in the box, but be that as it may. So anyway, REI apparently carries multiple folding chairs, so I'm going to have to go over and find,
sit in them?
Yes, and see what's comfortable. Yes, absolutely. Although I did watch several videos today of people who were comparing camp chairs.
Oh.
Yes, you can learn a lot.
You've been looking at you didn't put them up on the TV, so I didn't know.
No, I did it before you got up this morning. I was up at 6 this morning, 6:30.
Oh.
Yeah, I woke up and I was clogged. So I got up, I had a cup of coffee, I was doing Animal Crossings, I was doing all kinds of stuff, and then all of a sudden it's time for church. But I was looking at these videos. I've been looking at videos quite a bit this week because I think I mentioned there was a boat in Florida that I was interested in, but it has composting toilets. And I had been looking at all kinds of videos, and most of the videos are really quite positive about the composting toilets until I found this middle-aged couple.
Which is a comparative.
Better comparison to my life than really young, you know, newlyweds thinking they're going to be off-grid. Someone who's 40, 45 is better than someone who's 25. Just saying. And
especially as someone who is 68.
Yes. And they spoke about some of the grim realities of composting toilets, and I went, I don't see how this is going to be helpful to us.
No.
Yes. And then we moved our boat on Friday, and I spoke with with a friend of mine who's my same age or maybe 2 years younger. And she went, no, that's not going to work. Because I explained to her the problem. And she said, yeah, no. I went, yeah, it's a problem. So,
unfortunately, that has pushed that boat out of the running.
That and the lack of upper cabinets and the fact that it's an old design.
Oh, okay.
Whereas if we look at a newer boat that has relatively the same design, that is a production boat, you have a better chance of being able to resell it when you can no longer go sailing.
Okay.
And that, I think, is an important concern.
Yes.
Whereas the people who are making the main cat have gone into retirement. And no one bought his boat, his production line. If he had sold it to somebody, then Bob, your uncle, I would have been all over that boat in Florida, because replacing the toilets isn't that big a deal. And could I put cabinets in? Well, I could actually put like a ledge at the countertop. Like build out two pieces this way and an upright this way, and I could stick all my cans and stuff. So I mean, I could certainly do it, but since it's going to be a defunct brand, you would have terrible trouble selling it.
I would. So, I appreciate this forethought.
Yes. So that's why the other one, Seawind, would be better. Because it's a known brand, and it looks like they're going to keep going for a while. In fact, they're expanding their line, yada, yada, yada.
Good.
Anyway. So, but because we were getting the boat ready, and I was moving cars all around, and what else? Oh, my phone broke.
And you had a bunch of doctor's appointments this week.
Bunch of doctor's appointments. My phone broke, so I was over to Apple to have them look at it. Then I had to go back in an hour and a half to go pick it up. And, of course, it wasn't ready, so then I'm walking around the mall for half an hour, which wasn't bad. It's just that I wasn't used to it. So in the middle of the night, I woke up with the Charlie horse. So Charlie horses, for me, come from doing exercise in an amount that I'm not used to. And while I've been riding bicycles, I haven't been walking that far. So anyway, it's been, and all of this is in an expression of I didn't get to do as much on either my counter cross stitch or the mitten that I would have liked to.
I know, I had the same problem.
I could have been heck on wheels.
I had the same problem, except mine was that I had so many things happening, maybe not necessarily like after work that was work related, but I had like extracurriculars happening, and I wasn't getting home until late.
Yeah.
Most nights this week.
So, and I didn't think to start a sock to take on the moving the boat trip until the next day when we went to the baby shower. So I could have had almost a whole sock done.
You could have.
I could have. And so anyway, we'll talk about the socks later.
So what did you get done this week?
I didn't go get those buttons.
It's okay.
Anyway, I finished, I blocked the Waggles the dog. I blocked the sweater. It really smoothed out so nicely. I really liked it. And having been blocked, it went around her belly much better. And then I went downstairs and I managed. And
you ended up not doing the hoodie section, the hoodie part?
I did not do the hoodie section. I decided that was just, we didn't need to do that. So instead we made the buttonholes bigger to accommodate these ladybug buttons. And come to find out, the prospective grandmother loves ladybugs. I mean, she went nuts over this. So the coat is now two buttons up at the top, because those were the buttonholes I could enlarge to accommodate the ladybugs. And that gift has been given, along with onesies and books and washcloths and all kinds of stuff. So that was yesterday. And I thought enough to bring some yarn and start a sock.
She asked me, she goes, are you bringing knitting? And I was like, well, because I've had such a bad week, I have not finished the baby sweater. Note how this is the body, though. I do have 2 sleeves back to the apartment. So, good thing I didn't finish it, because I would have had to make an emergency trip back to the apartment to get the sleeves. But I have gotten this far on the body, and as I said, I have 2 sleeves. So, I have I have to have 9 inches, and I think I'm at 6, maybe 7 now.
You're at 6. That's not 7.
This is 4, and yeah, so it's 6 inches.
Maybe 5.5. Sorry to burst your bubble.
I'm gonna just keep knitting until it matches the sleeves, because the sleeves are 9 inches too.
Yes. So she said she was bringing knitting.
I was like, well, I didn't finish this, so it's getting knit on there.
And I'm thinking, well, I can't bring my counter cross stitch because that's really too in your face. And the mittens really are too in your face because I'm looking at a chart.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I've got a sock that I've lost the mate to 3 or 4 years ago. Now, when they came out of the dryer, they were a pair. Mm-hmm. They made it upstairs and onto the top of the dresser, whereupon one of them disappeared.
One of them has gone off adventuring.
One has gone hiking, yes. So this is a sock, I think, Upton?
Yes.
It's the color gray Upton from Neighborhood Fiber Company. And I'm just lucky that I had a spare ball of it.
Yeah. Are you going to just make the one to make the pair? Or are you going to make...
No, I'm just making one. To make a pair. And then I'll save it to do cuffs and heels or something like that. So I cast it on when we got to the house because I drove down to Camden and back.
Because my mother is amazing and I had a migraine.
Right. So I was the driver, which meant I wasn't drinking anything other than, ginger ale and... Pomegranate ginger ale. Wasn't bad.
That's good.
Yes.
It was all pink beverage themed.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yes.
Ah, okay. But it was pretty good. And they had, 3 foot long, 2 different 3 foot long hoagies.
Yep.
And they had... Charcuterie, right, and some cupcakes.
Yes.
They were blonde cupcakes. And I'm a fool for chocolate, so we stopped on the way home to get chocolate chip cookies.
Mom turned to me and was like, I need chocolate chip cookies, and I need them at the next
rest stop
we see. And I was like, okay, ma'am.
Yeah, and I managed to get fat chocolate chip cookies.
Oh,
yes, there were only 6 in the thing.
Oh, the Chips Ahoy extra big ones?
Yeah, the fat ones. They fit the bill because we were hours getting home. Crossing Staten Island. It's been 15 months. It's been a year ago Christmas since we did any kind of distance traveling. And I tend to forget how awful Staten Island is to get across. It's dreadful. And it's any of the crossings. If we had gone across at the GW Bridge, it would have been shoot me. The only way we could have done it, and we need to remember this, is we could have gone up to Manhattan College.
We could have.
To get across going to Jersey.
Yeah.
Coming home, it would not have saved us. I think the only bridge going across the Hudson that works out is Bear Mountain, and I really don't want to drive that far north.
Yeah.
Crossing at Bear Mountain is lovely, but then who wants to come south from there just to get to Long Island? Anyway, it was hours and hours and hours, and I haven't worn my good shoes since at least a year ago Christmas. It may be before then. And by the time I got home, my driving foot, my right foot, was really getting sore just from the pressure of being on the gas pedal and or the brake pedal in the shoes. Oh well. The baby shower was lovely. It was a great time. It was a Zoom one. So those of us who were in the house had all been vaccinated, double vaccinated, and passed our 2 weeks.
Yep.
Many of them were healthcare professionals. And then others were on a Zoom, and they'd managed to hook it up to the television, which was a big wide screen. And so that was a lot of fun. It really was. Yeah. And we played Jeopardy for a baby shower game. So that was good. They weren't hard.
No.
So and there was no winner. It wasn't like we got prizes, which was good.
It was very chill, which I appreciated.
Yeah, and the prospective mother didn't want to be the center of attention, which is kind of hard since she's the one who's pregnant. And, I don't think she wanted a lot of frou-frou games and stuff like that, which is fine, absolutely fine. The rest of us are going, that's good. So we had a good time. We left at about 4. We got home
7:45.
Yeah, really. It was almost 4 hours home. 3 hours down, 4 hours home.
The belt is a killer.
The belt was a killer. And there was one accident where it looked like the accident had first happened on that side, the opposing side, and then it looked like someone had rear-ended someone on our side while looking at the guy across the way. So,
yeah.
Rule of thumb, don't look at the other one. Have your passenger look at the accident and tell you all about it.
Yeah.
You don't look, because otherwise you could end up in the same way.
We are now vaccinated, so now we are going to be traveling more. So now you're going to get more of these little tidbits and reminders of how much we dislike the belt, especially I, as a passenger, because just...
It was stop and go traffic.
It's always stop and go traffic, and I always get ill.
Yeah, I did my best.
You did admirably. It was the combination of the migraine plus...
Well, yes, it can be.
And it's just... And I was trying
because
very hard...
I didn't speed up and slow down.
No, you didn't.
Really.
You were really good about it.
I generally try to judge or gauge, can I come up to the car ahead of me and will it keep going? Sometimes you just can't keep going. But you also need to close in the space because otherwise people think that you're brain dead and you've, lost it. So the ride down wasn't bad. No. We listened to
the Knitmore Girls.
Yes.
Because we haven't been traveling a lot together, the two of us, because there haven't been events that we've been going to, there haven't been, things that we're traveling to, which is usually when we listen to them. We listen to them together. And I had asked Mom probably yes, we do.
Not this coming weekend because we're going to be
we're
going
I'm
away
gonna wait.
to Virginia.
I thought we were going to wait until my order got in.
Yes.
And then we'll go.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe the weekend, she's not open on Sunday, is she?
Maybe. I don't remember.
Okay.
We can look it up.
Because it might be in the weekend after we go away.
Maybe. I've got cast that weekend.
Right. I remember that.
So maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
But what I was going to say was we were listening to Knitmore Girls, and I guess about 9 months ago I'd asked Mom if she didn't mind if I listened ahead or if we just skipped, so that we're caught up and we just keep the last, most recent 2 months or something. And she goes, no. And I was like, okay, cool. So we're gonna eventually catch up.
It, yeah.
So we got through, I think from
almost the month
we got through all of April 2020. And I think we're almost through May of 2020. So next week, there are two that are dated May 26, 2020. But yeah, I'm really
we'll get through June.
I'm intrigued to see this and to see
how crazy Rich gets.
Yeah, because if we listen to these on the way down next week, he might lose his mind.
Because we're driving to Alexandria, and then we're driving down to the James River to see my brother, and then we're bringing my mother back to Alexandria, and then driving on Sunday from Alexandria back to New York. So we've got lots of drive time. And what's good about the Knitmore Girls is both Elizabeth and I love listening to them, and we don't have to worry about Richard getting embarrassed by whatever our novel is likely to say.
Well, and it's not even embarrassed. He also doesn't typically like the fantasy novels because he's not particularly into having to figure out the magical system and all of that.
But generally there are sex scenes in them, and even though they're light sex scenes, he turns colors.
Or even if the Tamora Pierce fade to black kind of scenes,
right? Exactly. He gets really embarrassed.
He starts to short circuit. It's kind of funny. But yeah.
So the knitting podcast, although it drives him crazy, at least it's not embarrassing.
And it's not a Dick Francis.
Right.
Or a Commissario Brunetti.
Yes.
Which is always read by a British man or woman reading with an Italian accent.
Right.
Which drives him up a wall, except they're great, cozy mysteries.
They are. Commissario Brunetti is a detective in Venice. And since we've been to Venice, you've been to Venice. I've been to Venice a couple times.
I've been twice. Once.
That, I can envision some of these places.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that it works out.
We're going to have a lot of fun
We
over the
are.
next few weeks catching up on our knitmores.
We may get all the way to July.
We might.
We might, yes.
That would be exciting.
So anyway, I'll also then show you.
Show off. I showed off, as I said, I am this far along on the baby sweater. It is pooling.
It looks
really
nice.
Interestingly. Yeah.
I like pooling.
I think if it isn't too, I was worried about it actually like vertical striping is what I was really worried about. I kind of like that it's this like abstract painting pooling.
Yes, I like pooling. I mean, I love whatever the yarn does.
I know.
So, the counted cross stitch.
Oh.
So as you can see, I'm filling more in here. I can tell you that I've filled in a lot of this orange, and now I'm filling in this roof line over here. I'm almost finished with this roof line. I had hoped to get down to here by this weekend. I've made some strides, but there have been nights where I've just passed out. But Thursday.
I passed out with my knitting in my hands, and I wake up, and I will have, obviously I've like been awake enough to get it, like, and I haven't had any bad sleep knitting things, but I'll fall asleep, and I'll very blatantly, you can see that I've pulled my needles like this, so that they're hanging out, so I can't pull them, and then I just do this.
Well, no,
and I fall asleep on the couch.
Thursday night, which was after a very early doctor's appointment, and then fooling with the phone and walking around Roosevelt Field, so I had plenty of exercise. Richard had an educational event over at the boat club, and he said, "Do you want to go?" I went, "No, I'm exhausted." He says, "Well, you have to go pick me up because we have to position the cars for moving the boat." I went, "Oh, God, no." I sat down on the sofa to watch the news, and I woke up a little bit after 8 o'clock. So I was asleep for like an hour and a half. I had set an alarm, so if I'd slept 5 minutes longer, the alarm would have gone off. So anyway, I wake up, I'm kind of shaking myself awake. You know how you get a little loggy? And all of a sudden I hear a large explosion. Boom! I'm like, okay. And I kind of look around. I don't smell smoke.
You assess that it is not your
abode. Me. Right. It sounded maybe outside. So I'm thinking it sounded larger than a firecracker. And we tend to have firecrackers going off here in the summertime. But it sounded different than that. But I didn't hear any sirens. So I said, well, maybe it was my imagination. Who knows? Come to find out that one of the houses, 8 streets south of here, blew up. It had propane tanks. And the house, some part of the house caught on fire. And then it torched the propane, and the propane went up, which is what I heard. It was the same night that there were 2 other fires in the district. One at a waste recycling plant and another in Garden City. So maybe the fire engines were delayed getting down to 7th Avenue, 7th Street. Who knows? Anyway, really bizarre week.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. I did work
on
my mitt.
Oh.
So, remember last week I was down here?
Yeah, you had just started it.
Now gotten up to here.
You've got the full cuff, and you've got the starts of the actual mitt.
Yes, and this is now the left hand. And of course, when you read these pitiful directions, it says, just reverse for the left. And I'm going, what do you mean reverse for the left?
Reverse.
And I'm thinking, do you just reverse the one side to make sure the thumb is on the proper side? Or exactly, it would have been nice if they'd given me just the start of a chart reverse, so I knew exactly what they were talking about. So what I've done is I got out my first mitten. I said, all right, it's like this. And so when you read the chart, and you read it from the right to the left, you start here and you read around to there. And then you come back and read around this way. So I thought, okay, I think what I need to do is I then need to start here. So they start here and I work around to the thumb because my thumb has to be here, which is what I'm doing. And it looks like it's turning out right because there is the ribbing for the thumb that you can see is here.
Yes.
So I have about 4 more rows to do before I take these thumb stitches off and put them on some waste yarn. So it is coming along. I find it pressing to get it done. I tend to be tighter on my needles, which then makes my hand hurt. So I think I can work on this for maybe 2 or 3 hours, and then I need to put it down, which is what I'm doing tonight. So tonight, as we finish this, I'm going to go back to working on the counted cross stitch because it's really kind of easy. I think getting those colored pens has worked out really well because first of all, they don't rub out like the pencil did. So I know I can really pinpoint what square I'm working on. And the other thing I'm finding funny is that some of these places that are blank on the fabric are not blank in the pattern. I think that I, at some point, crossed them out going, no, you've done that. I didn't do that.
Good.
I don't know where on this piece of canvas or linen I thought I had done that, but I had not done that. So luckily I had done pencil in crossing it out so I can see what's supposed to be there. When you can see the back flower pattern is starting and doing a much better job than this flower pattern did. So
yes, well that's because you have now the exploded
yes,
view.
That helps a great deal because this is this part. Yeah, it's going to be much better. Much more better.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's that.
Yeah, I see.
So, I've gotten to that point.
Nice.
So, I've gotten half of my mitten done. I don't know that it'll be done next week because we're going to be driving around Gazelle Acre. But we are in progress, and I would really try to do an hour or 2 a day on it and really make some progress on it. The exploded pattern helps a lot.
And by exploded, I mean enlarged. I couldn't think of the word enlarged.
Well, that happens to me too.
Yes.
And see, they try to tell me it's age. It can't be age because it happens to you. I think it's too many things in your brain.
Possibly.
Yes, because we don't tend to dribble things out. We try to keep everything, and as you learn more stuff, it just keeps getting crowded. And in fact, I can tell you the theory behind that, but we won't go there.
Good. Appreciate that.
There's no need to really get that kind of head up about it. I can tell you that my second book club should be finishing this week. And I'm kind of glad because I didn't learn a whole lot that was new. I mean, a few pieces I learned, such as until the turn of the 1900s, so from like 1890 to 1910, you couldn't become a citizen of the United States unless you were categorized as either black or white. So if you were Chinese or Japanese or Indian from India, you could emigrate here, you could start your family here, but you could never become an American citizen because you were neither white nor black. Who knew? Anyway, so I've learned some interesting historical pieces of information, but in terms of thinking about what the literature and what Bible discussion is calling me to do, I've been down this road.
The discussion has not been as fulfilling as you had hoped.
No. In fact, we have had much deeper discussions in our little church group.
We should poke.
Well, when I get done after Monday, I can do that. I find I can also only do one book club a week. And while the diocese is starting another 3-week one, I'm not going to sign up for it.
Okay.
Because it's summer.
It also didn't sound like... It sounded interesting, but not... Because when you said it was only 3 weeks, I was like, oh, maybe I'll join it with you, Yeah. Because if you haven't noticed, we tend to enjoy doing things together.
What a surprise.
I mean, I'm an only child. What do you expect? My parents were my friends for a good portion of my life because they were always here. My dad played a lot of the Barbie video game when I was little.
I remember coming home and he goes, so we played the Barbie game and I got a boyfriend and I went shopping for a prom dress. I went, good for you.
So but because I was thinking of if you wanted to do it because it was only 3 weeks to do it with you, but it didn't sound it sounded interesting, just not overly.
I think if it were in November,
Yeah, that too.
it sounded like a good winter topic rather than a good summer
topic.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I've also been cross-stitching.
Yes, she has.
So this is the frame that I did. Remember, I did this side. I did the right, or that's not the right side, the left side. And then I was like, I'm going to do the
That is the right side.
That's the right side?
Yes, that is your right.
No, that is the left side.
Well, when you hold it up, it becomes the right side.
When you're looking at it, it is
Yes,
the left side.
That's correct.
There we go. I was right.
But
on my body currently,
Yes.
it is my right. Yes.
Okay.
So the left side, and then I went across the bottom, and then I realized that in order to get the whole bottom, I would have to move the frame over. So I did, and I've now done all of this is half a stitch, and up to here, I have gone back and doubled it. This is the Tamora Pierce, or Tamora Pierce.
Notice if you were a teacher, you'd have to do the reverse.
Yes, I would, but I'm not a teacher.
But you're showing them.
I'm not a teacher. I'm dyslexic and an engineer.
Yes, well.
So I'm doing the Tamora Pierce, Taylor and Cromwell stitch along.
There you go.
This summer. So this is the frame that has been out and that they are saying to do beforehand, which I can see why. Each of these will have a row of a darker color around it as well, to really define it.
It's a lot of work.
It is, but I think it'll definitely be beautiful and worth
I think
it.
So. Isn't it nice to have that grid in your fabric?
So happy. The problem is that it's gridded on every 10, but I'm stitching over 2 because it's linen. So I don't really have to think about it, but when I count things, I do have to remember double. That it's every 2 is 10. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I really do like the pre-gridded fabric. We will see at the end of this. I think this might be my first foray into actually washing a piece before I put it in a frame or anything, because that's the only way to get the marking off of it.
Oh, really?
Hot water.
Oh, good to know. Whereas my colored pens come off with heat, like from an iron.
And they say you could probably do it with heat, but the best way they describe it is with Dawn dish soap and warm water.
Sounds good.
Yeah, but DMC threads should be color fast and are proven to be color fast in most situations. Right. So we're just crossing our fingers and going for it.
What the heck?
So this line marks the end of the bottom row before you start the vertical on the right side. So I did do a bunch of that. I actually had this further up, but I moved it down so that I could put more of the vertical in. Because what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to finish this across, and then I think I'm going to take the vertical as far up as possible. Because this is row 70 here. So there are not 70 rows above within the frame right now. So I think I'm going to do everything that goes here, and then
move it up.
I think I'm going to move it up to over in this section first, because what was discovered is the pattern, the bottom row and the left or right hand row have border have 4 middle colors, 4 stitches wide, when they should be 5. It was just a thing that the designers had missed, and they said if you wanted it all to be symmetric, that you could add it to the outside. So I did add it to the outside, just so that it is all then symmetrical along the left, the right, and the bottom, and then all the interior. The top is thicker. That is, I think, 8 stitches wide. But yeah, so I will have to add the row down at the bottom over here. But it's a lot of work, y'all. This amount is almost an entire bobbin of this, or skein of this color. I thought it was crazy that it was telling me that it was going to be like 3 to 4 skeins. Now, I don't think it's so crazy. It's still outrageous.
It's going to be gorgeous.
But it's going to be gorgeous.
Yeah, so in case anybody's wondering, the sock I'm doing is a plain vanilla toe-up sock. My favorite sock, and I'm going to do an afterthought heel. So I could just knit this thing into a tube and then go back in and cut the one piece of yarn where I want to insert the heel. I've done it before. It's a little scary, but you really shouldn't be that worried about it because the yarn has tooth to it, and so it doesn't run like an idiot around the block. It really may, if you miss picking up a leg, you may miss one row, but that's about it. And in fact, it's very easy just to pick up one leg as you're going across. Pick up one leg of each stitch as you go across. It works out really quite easily. So what I would do is I would get a needle one size small. I think I'm working on 1.5 here. I would get a size 1 or a size 0. They're square.
They're also bent.
Well, this one I've bent because it's been in my bag. What can I tell you?
Okay. I was just like...
They're
the
cubics from Knit Picks.
Yeah.
And yeah, it looks like it's been sat on. Oh well.
Still does the job.
It still does the job. I'm not worried about it. So what I would do is I would use a smaller needle to go through and pick up those legs above. I would denote the one that I was going to cut, and then I pick up the row below and a row above. What I do is I measure to the first area where my ankle bone hits, and that's where I would normally put in the waist yarn that I would then pick out. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to do waist yarn or not. We'll see. Probably will. I generally do, but I've done it both ways, and it works out pretty well. The other thing I've started this week is yoga.
Oh!
Yes. The knee is coming along. So I figured I would add in some stretching and flexibility along with the strength and weights exercises that I've been doing with physical therapy. So what I'm going to do is call a physical therapist probably this week or next week. Probably this week to make an appointment for next week to get a list of just all over body exercises and bring my Flow Body exercise mat, because it's a mat that has elastic bands and it has weights incorporated into how it's packed. So you can actually have separate weights. I think 2 10-pound weights.
I think it's less than 10 pounds, but yeah.
No, I think they're can be up to 10 pounds. You can have them so they're 5 pounds. I think you can have them so they're 10 pounds.
I thought that was on the resistance, but okay.
Well, the resistance goes up to 20 pounds.
Oh, okay.
So there's different bands. Anyway, I thought I'd take those in so that because I can start
doing something that the physical therapist would then yell like that. You would end up
so
at
that
the
they
physical
know
therapist.
what equipment I have on the boat
right
to work with. So when we go sailing, I plan to take my folding bicycle and my Flow Body mat, and this way I can do my yoga. I can do and I can do whatever exercises we can figure out to do with the Flow Body mat. So I'm really excited about that.
Good.
What else?
I don't know, but I got some stuff in the mail.
Oh, well, then let's talk about that.
So, Untangled, across the pond, had a tea kit, or a tea collection called the Coveted Collection from Tea Kit, the Tea Leaf Experts. And so there are 7 sachets of different flavors, and they come in a cute little
7 of each
box.
flavor?
No, 1 of each 7 flavors.
Ah, okay.
So there is a Tomatin whiskey tea, a sea buckthorn blend, a yellow gold oolong, an Isle of Harris gin tea, jasmine pearls, silver needle, and second flush Darjeeling. So I am really excited about this. While we were on some of the events for Indie Untangled Europe, people were saying that they were having some of the tea, and the tea was very good. So I'm very excited about this. Yeah.
Are they an online store?
I think they are on. I don't know about the tea. They must be. But I know that Indie Untangled has, I think they still have some in their shop. So I will put, if I can find it, I'll put a link below. Okay. And on the note of Indie Untangled, next weekend they are having Indie Untangled Spotlight, which is for designers and dyers and other yarn-adjacent craftspeople. Who have a smaller following, or who have only started their business in the last 2 years, I believe. Definitely check it out. I think tickets are $7, and that includes bingo. I think,
I didn't sign up.
I think trivia is added. There are some conversations that are set up for... I know the Knitmores are going to be doing a conversation. I think those are all in the lounge. I know we're going to try and log on for them, but because we're seeing my grandmother... Yeah, I bought a ticket months ago, before we started our plan to see my grandmother this coming up weekend. So we're going to try and log in and see what we can, and there is one thing that Mom has already gotten an email about that she wants me to get her for Mother's Day. Yes. So that will be purchased probably on Friday when it opens. But other than that, if you are looking at doing any of that, definitely check out Indie Untangled. I like their events. I really enjoy playing bingo with them. I really enjoyed trivia last time too. So I really hope that continues. Unfortunately, though, we will not be joining because
we're going to be traveling. As I said, we're going to be doing all that driving that I talked about. Now I'm going to be doing the preponderance of the driving. So I fully expect to flake out once we get after we go to dinner, and I've made outside dinner reservations at my mom's favorite restaurant. So crazy. She loves bonefish. Now, if you are in the Alexandria area, you know that there are several bonefishes. Well, a friend of hers had sent her an email. Do you know bonefish closed? I thought my mother was going to have a stroke. And she went on about this for a couple weeks, and finally she called me and says, bonefish didn't close. I said, okay. Well, I drove over there. I wanted to find out. Okay. She goes, they're eating out. I said, fine. I'm glad. I don't get as excited about bonefish as she does, but that's fine. So anyway, we have outside dinner reservations for Sunday at 7. Friday at 7. I spoke to the fellow that I was making the reservations with, and I said, so if the rain is driving sideways, is there room for us inside? He goes, oh yeah, we'll be fine. I said, great. So I'm hoping it's not freezing. If it's freezing, I guess they'll have to move us inside. I believe all of us have been vaccinated.
I think only my uncle is the one who I don't know about.
Oh, Rob?
Yeah.
Rob has.
Oh, then we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Oh yeah, he's already told me about that. So everybody's been vaccinated.
Well, so far it looks like a high of 68, a low of 46, and partially sunny. Or partially cloudy, however you read that symbol.
Down there.
Yes, down there.
We may be eating inside. We'll see.
We'll see.
But anyway, so she's very excited about that. I called her today, and she reported that my nephew will not be joining us. And I went, right, because I already called him. Mm-hmm. And she, told me that whole story. So anyway, we're taking her to her favorite restaurant that she hasn't been to in 15, 18 months, whatever. So she's very excited about the whole thing.
But yes, so that is why we will not be partaking in the Spotlight.
I'm going to fall asleep after dinner. Then on Saturday, I'm going to fall asleep after we get home from my brother's house.
I'm more than happy to drive, but Dad seems to get weird when we're driving as a family and I drive.
Well, what can I tell you? So we'll see what it goes.
I'm 31 years old. I have had my license long enough, y'all. It's my car we're taking. My car, y'all. So the other thing that
if you want to drive, you can drive, but usually you like to rest.
Well, we'll see how it goes. So the other thing that came is the Women of Black Panther
Oh, cool.
set from Lady Di Yarns.
Oh, nice.
So there is Sleepwell Tea that just decided to come out and attack you all. Sleepwell Tea by Beantown Tea and Spices. There is a set of stitch markers.
What are
They are from Black Pearl Magic. One is just, I think, to
Sparkles.
represent the magic, the
powder.
Yeah, from the lily.
Oh, and the other's the throne.
The throne, yeah. And then just circles.
Right. Okay.
Which are reminiscent of the weapons that Nakia uses. So then there are 3 mini skeins, so 600 yards. This is Nakia, this is Okoye, and this is Shuri. And I really love them a lot. And they're kind of my favorite. And I kind of love that this bag says what it does, because the second Black Panther movie title was revealed, I guess this week or last week, and it's Wakanda Forever.
Oh, nice.
So this has Shuri, Okoye, Princess Ramonetta, and Nakia on it. So, yeah. I'm excited. I really...
It'll be a good movie.
It'll be a very good movie. I really like the first one. I really like the comics. I got introduced to the Black Panther mythos and comic world and Wakanda through X-Men, through Aurora, through Storm. So I just, I was one of the people in the theater when Okoye was, like, revealed, and I think Winter Soldier, Civil War, in one of the other movies, and I was like, yo, and I remember my boyfriend being like, why are you flipping out? And I'm like,
I know.
Because. And I went into it, and he was like, oh no. Okay, cool. And I was like, yes, this is a movie I will see multiple times in theaters.
Yeah.
And he was like, cool. I will see it with you once, and then however many times you would like, not in theaters after that. And I was like, okay.
You got it.
Yeah, I also find it amusing because Father has watched it fully through. This is one of the only superhero movies he has actually sat the entire way through.
Yeah.
Is Black Panther.
Yeah.
So, that is what has come in the mail. That is what we have worked on.
I will say, remember to start using your sunscreen. Because,
yes.
One, if you're out and you have to remain masked, you don't want to, at the end of the summer, find that you're white from here down.
Or just a different shade of
pale. A different shade, you know what I mean. So, you don't want to be multiple colors on your face.
Where you have significant freckles from here up.
Right. So, put on your sunscreen so that you'll match one end of your face to the other end of the face. And what I forgot was my lipstick with the SPF. And normally I have lipstick on, and the color in the lipstick prevents the sun from scorching my lips. Well, having started with a mask on Friday, we took it off on the boat because everybody had been double vaxxed. And I
love that my mom just keeps saying double vaxxed.
I managed to either windburn or something my lower lip. So it's better, but it's not yet entirely happy. So remember sunscreen for your face and some kind of lipstick or lip screen for your lips. I think I know I ordered, was it Sugar Pop?
Sugar Lips?
Sugar Lips.
Something?
It's a brand that has SPF 15 in it. I've used it past 2 summers, and it works really well. I just, first trip, I didn't put it in my pockets, and I know I thought about it, but it just didn't make it into my pocket that day. And now I'm paying the price. I'm hoping that I'll be pretty much better by Tuesday, because it's already been Saturday and Sunday. I don't think tomorrow's going to be the end of it, but maybe by Tuesday.
That'd be good.
So remember your sunscreen. Parts of you have not seen the light of day in a long time, and so they may be extra tender. And I have a feeling that's what's going on with my lip, is that my lip is going, what are you doing to me? And I'm going, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And I did drink a lot of fluid. I mean, I went through 2 bottles of water, 1 bottle of water, and 2 bottles of iced tea. So it wasn't that I was dry.
But
it was just there was wind. We sailed the entire way. It was coming from the east, and we were headed west. It was right behind us. It was dead downwind, which made it really simple. We got to talk the entire time. It really was a grand afternoon. So,
good. I'm sorry to have missed it.
Well, yes, it was one of those things done in haste, and I knew that you were at work, so you know.
I know,
we couldn't
it's
do
so
it Saturday.
sad.
Saturday was the baby shower.
I know. I do have to say though, like last year with when I was on furlough, that is still the like top notch story. Elizabeth, the boat might go in the water tomorrow. Okay, Dad, call me tomorrow then let me know what we're doing. I have the bag ready by the door. I'm ready to go. Okay, I got a call at 8:30 a.m. Elizabeth, boat is going in the water. Meet us at the boatyard. At the boatyard or at the club? At the club. Okay, what time? We figured out. And we get there, drop the car off. We all get in the car and go. And we get to where the boat is, and the boat had just been put in the water. And the guy on the launch goes, that boat just went in like less than 2 hours ago. And I was like, yes, I know. And he's like, you guys got here really fast. Yes, I know. Because it was also the end of June. It was the end of June just because of, the closures due to COVID.
Right.
And it was just very funny because I was like, sir, you do not understand how excited the three of us are to have this boat in the water.
He was doing the excited dance.
He was. It was very funny.
I mean, and
I could hear it through the phone.
Yes.
But it was also very funny because it was very obvious that he was very excited that I was able to come and do it. Because it ended up being like a Tuesday or something. But it was very funny. He
was very excited this year. He was like jumping for joy. And one of our friends who he's known since high school goes, chill. You've got to chill. And I said, there's no chill.
There is no chill.
There is no chill.
That man has no chill when it means his boat is going in the water.
No, absolutely not.
But
he's happy. The boat's in the water. So any day where it looks like we can have a good sail, we will be going out. I dressed appropriately. I was just an inch from being chilly, but I never crossed that line, so that was good. Our friend, Kay, did end up chilly.
Of course they did.
But I was fine. And in fact, yesterday was the same difference. I originally thought I was going to wear a more winter dress. But then I realized that we were going south, and I thought, well, I'll wear something a little bit more summery, itchy. And I did, but I wore a jacket with it, which was a brilliant idea because the windows open. Obviously, you've got people in the house for the first time in 15 months. So they had no idea about regulating temperatures, and maybe I just run colder. Well, I know I run colder than many people, but going to the Apple store, they have you stand in front of this monitor to check your temperature, and I was 97.9.
Oh, to get into the job site, we have a monitor that checks our temperature, and you tap card in, and it is very rare for me to get above 97.7. And it's very funny because sometimes the monitor tells me to walk away and come back because my temperature is too low, and I'm like, okay, I will walk away, I will come back, I will go like this to warm up my forehead a little bit more.
Yeah, we run cold.
It was very funny because actually my super was like, what did the machine just tell you to do? I was like, apparently I am not human. It's not that I'm running hot, it's I am too cold. Yes. And he was like, I mean, for you that checks out.
Right. I've had that happen to physical therapy. Where it may be a hot day outside. I've gone over there with the air conditioner running, and I'm fine, but it reads like 95.
Mm-hmm.
I went, okay. Obviously, I don't have a temperature.
Mm-hmm.
I may be dead, but I don't have a temperature.
Yeah.
So anyway, we do run a little, but anyway, so I've been pretty good at judging what to wear.
Good.
Yes.
For our re-entry.
For our re-entry into outdoor activities, my knee is doing really very well.
Good.
So we're going to be able to do the overnights and the long distance sailing. So that's exciting. I really am very excited about the whole thing. Have not decided on what a new boat's going to be yet. We continue the search.
Always good to have a continued search.
Yes, and I only broke one nail.
Oh.
In launching of the boat.
Nice.
One of the four fingers that is actually outside my gloves.
I only broke one nail in the move to the field office.
My gloves are fully covering these three fingers, and then it's only these two that have the tips out. And of course, it's this finger that went. But otherwise, everything was good. Good. Nothing got twisted. No twisted ankles. No twisted knees. It was excellent.
Then I guess it's time to say goodbye and
weave in those ends.
And we'll see you all next week. And a happy Mother's Day to
yes,
all
happy Mother's
who
Day.
are celebrating.
Alrighty,
bye
bye-bye.
all.